we can only grow our light, we can only grow our influence, and we can slowly start to spread this positive influence around. That is the only thing in our control. And being an optimistic person, I don't like to give up or throw our hands up in despair. We can always hope for the best. So, and I personally feel that each individual, as they grow their light. What I'm saying, grow their light means as they grow in their consciousness, as they evolve more and more upwards. Because human being has infinite possibilities. People like Amma, Buddha, Christ, Kalam, so many Einstein, so many people have been there who have demonstrated tremendous, abilities. So such abilities are inside us also. Each one of us has the same abilities. It is just that we need to tap those abilities. We need to go to the right source where these abilities are in store, and we have to unlock them. And there are methodologies by which we can unlock them. And so now, if you look at a very great teacher from the past, Gautam Buddha, so when he used to initiate students, he will tell three things. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. That is, I take the, what shall I say, shelter under the guidance of the master. Buddha is the master, right? The mentor. What we'll call the teacher these days, teacher or mentor, right? The Buddham Saranam Gacchami. So this Buddha stands for any teacher who wants to guide a certain set of students. So he will initiate them like that. Then Sangam Saranam Gacchami. Then that means Sangam is community. Because the world at large, even in those days, will not be interested in growing their light. Most people are caught up in their day-to-day life. Right? So those people who really want to grow their light, such people will approach Buddha, isn't it? So he will call them together into a community. Because if you are isolated in different pockets in the world out there, in those as I'm talking, then you will be overwhelmed by the environment, because environment is too strong. Environment is too strong, and it reminds you all the time about your mundane needs and mundane problems and challenges. This roti kapra makan, will always be occupying the top of your mind. So if there is a community of like-minded people who are also seeking to grow their light, to become more and more evolved in their consciousness, then they can support each other, right? Because there are certain people with whom you can discuss these kinds of ideas. So Sangam Saranam Gacchami. And the last thing he used to say, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam stands for the right path, the right way of living. Even in Buddha's 8 Noble Truths, he always gave this right livelihood, right thought. He knows what I'm saying. So for him, this right thing was very important, doing something right. So the technique part, the methodology part, that is the Dhammam part. Or Dhammam also translates in Dharma in Sanskrit. Because Buddha used to speak Pali. So in Pali, Dharma is Dhammam. So Dharma, so in a way, Dharmam Saranam Gacchami. So what it means is that there is a right path which if people follow, the mind becomes purified, and then in a purified mind, capacity to see the truth as it is, increases. Because this is very important, because normally people's minds are cluttered with all kinds of things, and because of which the mind loses its power. And when the mind loses its power, it's not able to perceive reality as it is. Right? So that is the whole objective. Because what we have got is our mind, which is the main tool that we have to do our day-to-day work, and also to be able to contribute, if possible, to society. So this growing our light means what? There is a source of light. Right? That source of light, all the enlightened beings have found in their inner system, at the core of their being. It's called Atman. It's one spark of God. Amma a few years ago wrote a very beautiful message for one of the magazines, college magazines that was published, at SB Kochi. I was reading that, and she wrote a very beautiful and powerful thing which resonates with me very powerfully. So I'm sharing with you. She said that in each one of us, at the center of our being, there is a drop of God consciousness. Okay, and she says this is an illusion to believe that we are separated from God in any way. Okay, it's an illusion, and that illusion needs to be broken, she says. And if this illusion is broken, you will realize that you yourself are the God that you have been searching for. Okay, so this this illusion that you are separate from God is only an illusion. It needs to be broken. It's as simple as that. So how do you do that? He says the only way to do that is that this drop of the supreme consciousness or drop of God, you can say, God particle, they say in physics, let's call it God particle or Atman particle. It needs to be recognized and it needs to be encouraged and it needs to be nurtured and it needs to be grown slowly. It's like a small baby inside us. It's a very, very small seed inside us right now. But it is a divine seed, it is a divine light, it's a divine spark. If you grow it, little by little it increases, and as it reaches a certain size or scale, it grows exponentially. Okay. So the name for this idea, what Amma is talking about, in Srimad Bhagavatam, a very famous Purana from Puran from India, it calls Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is the baby which is born out of the golden womb. Hiranya means gold, Garbha is womb, right? So Hiranyagarbha is another name for Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. So idea is that this golden seed, this golden spark of divine consciousness is inside all of us. It is recognized by all the traditions. Some traditions call it the Ruh as in Islam. Some traditions call it the soul as in Christianity. And in India they call it the Atman. Atman is, Atma is me. So Atman is the true me, the true I, not the illusion. So this true I lives across lifetimes. It never dies. Death happens only to the body, and forgetfulness happens only about the lifetime that we have lived in a certain period of time. But then we leave that behind, then we move ahead and we pick up another body, we have another lifetime, and we then proceed like that. It is belief in reincarnation, right? So all these things tie together very nicely if you think about it. So in a way, if you look at it from this perspective, the universe is nothing but a play of consciousness. And everyone gets to play a role according to their level of consciousness. So as is the level of consciousness, so is the manifestation of life. Okay. So that is a very powerful idea. So idea is that if you are evolved more, you will be happier. You will be more resilient. You will be more able to meet this crisis. For example, you are laid off from the company. Then what happens? Now if you are not that evolved, you may panic. You may not be able to think clearly. You may not be able to decide clearly what to do with life. You may become depressed very easily. So this growing our light means that we always stay afloat. Like another symbol used in Indian tradition is lotus. Lotus grows in the mud, but still it is so beautiful and blooms like anything, and it always moves towards the sunlight. So why the ancient rishis picked lotus as a symbol for this process of blossoming of consciousness or growing the light, whichever way you put it. So the idea is that mud around us recognizes the fact that wherever you are born, whenever you are born, always in the world outside around you, there will be a lot of darkness. There will be a lot of erroneous ideas, ignorant ideas, which will be dominant. Okay, and those things will condition you right from childhood. So in a way, we are born in mud. Mud here symbolizes ignorance. Even parents have ignorant beliefs, society has ignorant beliefs, teachers have ignorant beliefs. Even movies that you watch are based on ignorant beliefs. The songs that we hear, whatever we see around us is all based on wrong beliefs. And one wrong belief is that happiness will be because of something or someone else. If I can buy that, I will be happy. If I can marry her, I will be happy. If I can meet that dream or meet that goal, I will be happy. Everything is coming from outside only. That is a wrong belief. But everything is based upon that. So that gets instilled further and further into us. And then it becomes very difficult to break out from that illusion. Right. So Amma says that there is a drop of supreme awareness inside us. If it is nurtured, then it can do miracles for us and for society. So all the enlightened beings in the past, have demonstrated that amply, and did not, prove that. We all know that, right? And so let me come to my personal journey. Maybe that may inspire, some of you. Like why I believe in this idea, grow your light, or why I have been so adamant about teaching these kinds of subjects all my life. I've crossed 55 now. I'm now 56th year of my life. I'm running now. So all this, in the peak of my life, the peak of my career, despite being from an IIM system, I have PhD from IIM, MBA from a top B school. Why I chose to travel this path? Why I didn't choose that path where I could have made, maybe, millions of dollars, and like many of my classmates, and you know what I'm saying. So I could have been very, very super rich and successful, more successful in the worldly sense. But I chose this path because I could recognize very early in my life that this is not the way to be. Chasing outer success is not the way to be. That is illusion. It's like, and how I realize these things is because of my deep interest in Indian spiritual traditions. I could not do anything else, but I could read a lot because of my interest in Indian mythology, Indian tradition, and this faith in me that people like Ved Vyasa, for example, they are not foolish people. I had this firm conviction that these are not foolish people. When you look at the Sanskrit literature, it is so beautiful, isn't it? It is so. This poetry is so beautiful, so exalted, and it composed thousands of years ago that you can imagine that people who compose those, poetry, they are not foolish people. They know a few things. Without any telescope, these people could discover the entire, planetary system and the way they move across the zodiac. They could, configure the basic constellations, what is called nakshatras, the rasis, the planets which rule different rasis, and these planets and their, even movement across the sky, they could map very accurately without any telescope. For at least 2000 years, astrology has been there, and which has, mapped the movement of the stars, the planets across the sky, and with great accuracy. Even later, after discovery of telescope and all, when we actually plot their movement using modern scientific instruments, what we find is that the rishis, they have made the panchang for thousands of years. With unerring accuracy, they had made it. How they made it without any scientific tool? Isn't it a marvelous question? They will be astounding geniuses, no? So the work that is coming from, the past is coming from such high quality beings. They were not foolish people. So I had a lot of respect for these people. Okay. So as a result of that, I used to study these things very deeply from, very early age. And as a result of that, my understanding matured more and more. And as a result, more and more I could understand the deeper meaning hidden in these stories, which look very simplistic from the surface. So, the rishis, when they wrote something, there were 3 levels of meaning hidden in those things. Okay. The first level is the sabdarth. Sabdarth is literal meaning of the words that you read. Like what is called translation, no? You just translate from Sanskrit to English. That is what the people normally understand. Rama married Sita, and Rama had a brother Lakshmana, and Ravana was a demon king, and blah blah blah. That is simple sabdarth. It is simple translation. Looks like a story. Okay, but that is not the highest level meaning possible. There is second level, okay, which is the bhavarth. Now, bhavarth is that there is a hidden meaning behind the story. The story is symbolizing something deeper. Okay. And the deeper meaning we have to decode and understand. And then learn from that. Okay. And then the laksharth. Laksharth is the aim of the rishi who composed that story or who composed that whatever. Hymn or sloka or whatever. So laksharth is the aim. So if the aim is hit, the teacher's aim is hit, then the disciple becomes enlightened. That is the lakshya, that is the goal. The rishi is awakened being. He is trying to awaken the disciple also. So that is the goal of the rishi. He also becomes a rishi, the one who decodes the Lakshat. So it is what I'm trying to say. There are multiple layers of meaning in each of the things that you see coming from the Indian tradition, old ancient tradition. So I was blessed by, I don't know how it came to me, but for some reason I always suspected that what they are teaching in school is not very, what shall I say, complete truth. It's only partial truth. Like, there was a professor called Amit Jyoti Sen in IIM Calcutta. I often used to have long discussions with him. He was a very deep thinker. He used to like me a lot, and we used to engage in long conversations. So I used to share with him these ideas. For example, in mathematics, we learn in childhood 1 plus 1 is 2, right? And but in very small age, when I was standard 2 or 3 only, I could understand it's only partial truth. It's not the whole truth. 1 plus 1 may not be 2. It's only something which is taught with lot of authority, and we, as a result of that, to pass the exam, we learn that. And then whole life we keep believing like that because you never go deep into it. But you see, I mean, if 1 and 1 come together, in a body, heart and soul, they need not become 2, they can become more than 2. What you call synergy in management. Right? So whether 1 plus 1 will be 2, or 1 plus 1 will become 0, or whether 1 plus 1 will become more than 2, will depend upon the type of society in which this 1 and 1 are living. In a society where everyone is out to outcompete each other, it is winner takes all, dog eat dog world, which is the current scenario right now. This chat GPT and AI belong to that thought process. My company should make the profit. I should outcompete all my rivals and let the employees go to hell. Who cares? Employee is a cost. You see, first of all, a human being became a human resource. Then a human resource became a employee. Then the employee became a cost. And then a cost is an abstract number. And then when we are chucking off human beings, we are not chucking off human beings, we are chucking off cost from our income statement. You see how subtle is this whole process of contamination of consciousness. Now, if Chat GPT can write my essay, why should I write my essay? Many young youth will think like that. Isn't it, saving my time and energy? If a AI can write my essay, why should I write my essay? I can as well play the video game, or go to the mall or whatever, enjoy my life. But this kind of thought process, it hides something. What does it hide? It hides the idea of good pain. A person can never grow without good pain. Good pain is necessary. If you don't expose your children to good pain, they will crumble at the first opportunity. We need good and tolerable pain repeatedly in small doses to strengthen our being. Isn't it true?
Absolutely, sir.
Such a fundamental idea, good pain. As a society, we have lost touch in a very, very big way with some fundamental things. So anyway, see, when I start talking, you are my old student, I know I can go on for hours like this, without maybe teaching much. Maybe about one idea, I may talk for 3-4 hours. Okay, that's my basic nature, but I have to curtail that tendency a little bit because it's the first class or first session. So what does this idea mean, grow your light? So 48, 49 people registered, but 11 are here. I'm very happy, including my son and me. So at least 9 people are here. No one may have turned up, but some people have turned up, right? And some may quit, some may again come, some may have some other engagements. We are recording the session by any means. Doesn't matter how many people ultimately, we start with. But slowly we have to grow the light within ourselves and around us. And we have to understand what we are doing first of all. Okay. So What is possible with growing your light and what it means, I will try to relate with my personal example, my life story a little bit. So, when I was very small, I was in maybe class 4 or something like that. I developed one skin disease, okay, on my cheek. Let's say. This skin disease, became very difficult to treat, and I was getting treatment from the best doctor in Bihar, where I was born, Patna. He was the HOD of the skin department there in the PMCH, and he treated. He had so when I used to go to his clinic, so many degrees. His degrees used to occupy three lines. Okay. Any degree which you can imagine, he had. A very top class doctor. He treated for 2 years, but he could not cure me. Okay. They used to cut one, slice of my skin just like that with a blade, and I will not feel anything here. Blood will come out, but I will not feel pain. It had become numb, and this whole area had become red, and it had become so much conspicuous that my classmates would start to notice, and I used to feel very embarrassed, to go in public and all. You can imagine, a young boy, going through this traumatic experience. So it so happened that one of my uncles, my mother's brother, he was visiting us, and he suggested, the name of a homeopathic doctor who had treated him of a, attack of filaria. Filaria is a disease in which the leg becomes very thick. It's called elephantiasis. So he had been treated and cured by that doctor. So then we took appointment of the doctor, and he, just asked me a few questions for 5 minutes, and then gave 2 drops of some medicine in his clinic itself on my tongue, and then gave some, medicine doses for 1 week, and told us to come after 1 week. And you will not believe, after that one dose, he gave in the morning, by the night time, this had vanished almost 60%. And by the time I woke up early morning next day, I suddenly saw, I could feel my skin, and there was nothing. Gone. Vanished. It has never come back. In less than 24 hours, this went back. It has vanished, where 2 years of strong antibiotic and other treatment had failed. So this was an experiential learning for me, that in the field of healing or therapy, there are alternative modalities which are also very powerful. But the world only goes towards allopathy, for example. But homeopathy also is a possibility. This I learned from my personal experience, not from reading. It was my personal life experience. Now, perhaps you'll agree with me, life experience is more useful than reading, right? Because once you have experienced, you can't deny it, for yourself at least. As a result of that, I always had in my mind this idea that when I grow up, at some point of time, I will become a doctor, okay? And I will go and study homeopathy. And I used to dabble in homeopathy a little bit, read here, there. Could not make much sense because I was small, and I'm talking about pre-internet era. There a lot of information is not easily available, right? And there's no teacher who is teaching you something. But that interest was there. So, anyways, when I grew up, I wanted to become a doctor, but so I thought I'll take biology. But one challenge I faced was in biology, classes. We have to dissect live, lizards or something in our days. We had to actually do it, dissection in the lab, in the board exam. So, anyways, I had biology compulsory in the board exam. So you'll not believe, there were 10-mark question. I left that question. I did not do it because I could not do it. In the board exam, I left 10 marks just because I cannot do it. My consciousness doesn't allow me to be so violent to a creature just like that. Because they have made it numb, and then you have to dissect it. I could not do it. A frog was there. I could not do it. Okay. So I could not feel like doing it. So that was, end of my hopes of becoming a doctor, because I understood I can't study biology. Because they will make me do all kinds of weird things which have no connection to the actual healing which I want to do. So I dropped that idea and I started studying on my own. And today I'm a very good homeopath because of my self-study. And I have treated hundreds of people. Many people know about it. Okay. In America system also, among my colleagues also. So that was one path life took. So for what I'm trying to say, so I grew my light in one direction, which this knowledge helped me a lot during this COVID crisis, for example. Okay. And now since I became interested in homeopathy, I also started studying Ayurveda. So it's a similar thing. I started studying naturopathy. Then I know magnetotherapy and this and that, all kinds of therapies, which are alternative therapies. Okay. That is one stream. Then this question whether God exists or not. Some people say something, some people say something. Now I want to know it for myself. Okay, being a very deeply curious person, I want to know for myself whether there is a God or not. So by the time I reached standard sixth, I wanted very badly to find out whether God is there or not. Now my mother was a very devout lady. She was very fond of worshipping, this God, that God. She will keep, keeping some vrata, some upasas all the time. And the place where I used to live, lot of cats will be coming to our house now and then. And cats are very fond of milk. Okay? Cats are very fond of milk. So often my mother will be doing her puja and the cat will come and drink the milk. So I used to make fun of my mother that, what kind of God you are worshipping, who can't protect your milk. Or if he can't protect your milk, how he can protect you or your children? I used to make fun of her. And she will be very angry, she will scold me, she will become frightened that God will do something to me because I'm such an indisciplined child. Because like a mother, she will be worried about me. Because in her mind, God is omnipotent, and if God becomes angry, he can even kill me. She will become very panicky because of my nature. But my nature was like that because very logical. What I can observe, I will say. If God can't protect your milk, how will he protect you? He is such a powerless creature. So, but anyways, by the time I was in standard 6, I wanted to find out whether God exists or not. It was a very, so I have had many such projects in life of my own, not given by any teacher. But on my own, I'll let explore these things. So I started studying palmistry. Because they said that, the lines in the palm, they reveal your fate. And it made no sense to me. Why should these lines have any connection with fate or something? So I started studying palmistry. Okay. For a couple of years, whenever I'll get time, I'll study palmistry from here. Whatever books I could get hold of, I will take and read. And started seeing people's palms. And slowly I found that actually these lines on the palm and life are correlated. I myself could predict many things about the past and the future, which were corroborated. About the past, obviously, they know from experience, and future also later it happened as I had predicted for many. So slowly, I started to understand that there is some intelligence organizes everyone's life together. It's a web, cosmic web of life, and there are higher level intelligences or intelligence which coordinates this life. So I learned through palmistry. So since I started learning palmistry and I found it is quite promising, I started studying numerology, astrology, and stuff. So I'm a very good astrologer today, numerologist, palmist also. But I don't do these things generally for predicting the future. I do these things now only, for spiritual training of my students. Those who come close to me, I start training them about the real purpose of life. Because these things also reveal the higher purpose of life. Okay. So astrology taught me that actually these planets, they really influence our life. By seeing your horoscope, a good astrologer can really predict about your future. Perhaps some of you have experience also. So what I'm trying to share with you is that as you grow your light more and more, as you understand things more and more, life and its understanding start to change more and more. You start to feel more and more organically connected to entire life around you. And then you become more creative, much more creative. For example, during COVID crisis, most people will panic and they will only go to hospital or to the doctor, and the way they were treating, they were so paranoid, many bodies also could not be claimed by the family, isn't it? Because they were so scared of the virus, because they did not have a treatment for that. But what about many other possibilities of treatment? I personally treated so many cases. My whole family, I am the doctor. No one has gone to a doctor in my family for last many years. I am enough to treat all my family members. Okay. I have treated cancer also, okay, successfully. So this is what I mean growing your light. Your light is growing means you become more and more aware, more and more knowledgeable. But these things will not fetch me any personal benefit because of my very peculiar life path. I went into management as my career. Now at a certain point I was a finance professional. But then because of my interests and all, I realized at some point of time I have to study something in management, which is more related to my interest areas. So I then went from finance to OB, and within OB I took individual behavior as my specialization, and there also I went more into psychology because psychology comes a little bit closer to exploring the human mind. Okay, and that is how I used that as an excuse to study happiness at the workplace, and that as an excuse to start studying happiness in life in general. All these are excuses I made to escape from the grip of modern society. Because modern society's grip is very strong. It puts you in one role and it traps you in that role. Whereas people like Raj will and Vijay and all will agree with me, Ajit will agree with me. Right. And you have to do what that role demands. But then if you want to grow your light, you have to little bit use your personal time and personal space to start exploring these other avenues of growing your knowledge and your consciousness. So that is where my initiative has some relevance. So if we continue, I'll start sharing stuff that I've understood in my life a little bit, and also many materials. Then okay, anyway, let me continue my story. Then at some point of time in my life, I was fortunate enough to meet Amma. Okay. Maybe I had done enough of my personal explorations. There is a saying that when the disciple is ready, the master appears, right? So because of all my explorations in my own mad way, I had reached a certain level of intensity where I attracted Amma into my life. Okay. And then she took me under her wings, and then she literally dragged me from my place to South India. I didn't want to come. A North Indian doesn't like to come to South India for whole life. Okay, it's not that easy for me. All my relatives are there back there. Okay, but she literally dragged me. Okay, and I can't explain how she dragged me. It's a long story. Maybe some other slowly I'll reveal as we meet, if we meet again. In a few meetings. And then I understood that I'm meant to be here. Then I came to Coimbatore, and then she gave me the kind of subjects to teach which I had not anticipated. For example, ethics, I had not anticipated. I had anticipated to teach organizational behavior, which is my area of PhD, right? But it so happened that the faculty who was teaching ethics at that time, she told she doesn't want to teach because it's very depressing. Her PhD was in ethics from IIT Kharagpur. Okay. But when she was teaching ethics, in 2 years, she had started to feel mentally ill because the class was hostile, very reluctant to study ethics because they have come here to do MBA and get a placement. What has ethics to do with placement? Teach finance, teach marketing, teach something which is relevant to placement. Why ethics? And she was teaching in that very old classical style, very heavy style. Okay. So they asked me to teach ethics. And that was the first core course I taught. I was taken by surprise. Because apart from the moral science which I studied in the standard 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, in a missionary school in my childhood, I have not studied ethics at all. Only in school, little bit moral science I have studied. That doesn't qualify me to teach ethics. But then anyways, I took up the challenge, and then like any teacher, I started looking at different courses, texts which are prescribed for ethics courses across the globe. From among them, I selected one, Trevino Nelson, and then I thought I'll use it in the textbook. But after some time, I joined in May, and the class will start in July. I had got some time to prepare. So after 3-4 weeks, I realized that these kind of books, whatever are available, if I use them to teach ethics, people will go to sleep. So they're very heavy. They talk about what Gandhi told, or what this fellow told, or what Spinoza told, and what that fellow told, Cotilla told. Who cares about these things? No one cares. It has to be something which is very organic and something which helps people in their career, isn't it? That is what is meaningful in a B school. So I abandoned all the books. I wrote my own, teaching notes. 30-35 page teaching notes, which I still give to students with little bit modifications. Sneha, Hemant and all have read that. Vijay have read that. Meghna also. Right. So, and little bit other material. Then slowly I started teaching more and more. Some bright students started to make summaries of my classes. Then I started sharing those also along with my teaching notes as supplementary material. That became a primary text. And then the most important text was me only in the classroom. And I started teaching in a very different way, telling that ethics is that which makes you successful and happy both at the same time. What is ethics? Ethics is code of behavior. Your code of behavior should be such that it brings you personal success and personal happiness both. You rise in your career and you also feel very happy. That is ethics. If it works like that, that is ethics. So using that technique I was teaching, so I broke the course into two parts, first personal and interpersonal ethics and then the corporate ethics. So till midterm I taught the first two components, and corporate I taught after the midterm. But students wanted me to teach the first part only and forget the corporate ethics because they don't care about it anymore. Okay, because they're enjoying so much their personal growth. So then some of them approached me, sir, we want to explore these ideas more. So I said, fine, you write to me, with a request. I'm talking about happiness course, how it was born way back in 2007. So they wrote, application to me that, sir, we want to explore these ideas that you taught in the, first part of ethics. They are so interesting and very useful to us. So please continue with that. So if it will be, if you can offer a elective course to continue that idea, it will be very good. So 17 or 19 people, something I don't remember, I had signed that. So I went with that to Dean Somnath sir, and Somnath sir was very happy. He told that, you see, because in those days SB had a calendar, annual calendar. For every trimester, we had a semester system. The courses were already, what shall I say, decided. And calendar was already not changed. That is why I had to make them write a petition. So then I went to the dean, and dean, was very happy. He said that the first time I am seeing that students are demanding a course to study. Students generally don't like to study. Here they want to study. That is a very good thing. So it's a very great thing. Why don't you float a course? Then I floated the happiness course, and then I kept teaching happiness course till 2021, before I was shifted to Kochi as the principal here. So this has been my journey in my personal this thing, and so happiness course, then leadership also I started teaching after a few years. So Amma gave me opportunities to teach those kinds of courses where I can hone my own knowledge more and more and become more and more deeply grounded in this kind of knowledge. So because I'm teaching modern students who are little bit away from these kinds of ideas, so I became very creative in teaching these things in such a way that I can engage their attention and interest also. Then SAPG I am teaching, and I teach. I taught cultural education also at Amrita University for 9 years. So all that prepared me, to reach a stage where today I can do something like this. What I'm starting to. And I plan to take it forward in a very nice and organic manner, slowly. And I know that ultimately a core group will stay with me, and then we can keep working together, and we can keep growing our light. When I say keep growing our light, we can keep developing our knowledge and our understanding of different aspects of life, be it health, be it career, be it whatever. And then we can also contribute together as a community and support group for each other, and then see whether it grows or not. Maybe hopefully more people will join. And together we can then, if a certain large number of people join, then we can also together think of some initiatives, social initiatives also. Small initiatives where we can contribute something. So, this is what I thought I'll share first. And another aspect of my life was meditation. So after I came to Amrita, by Amma's grace, meditation started happening spontaneously. And with meditation, what happened was that Hemant, just wait for some time. I'll give you a chance. So with meditation, what happened was that I started to get in touch with that inner spark of supreme consciousness. What Amma says, the drop of God inside you. By Amma's grace, I could connect with that drop. What is called Atman, soul or self. So within a year or so of my starting the meditation, and I didn't start, it just started spontaneously by Amma's grace. I met Amma, came here, and the moment I came here in Amrita, it started. And this blossomed to such an extent in a year that I could get in touch with my own Atman or soul, self. So when I meditate, I'm in touch with my Atman. And when I'm in touch with my Atman, I need nothing. I can be in absolute bliss for hours together. If no one disturbs me, I can be like that for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, doesn't matter. And more powerful the bliss becomes. So much so that at times you feel like merging in that. And there is no joy in this world which compares even little bit to that. It is a powerful happiness experience. Every day I get in touch. I'm blessed in that sense. And that, when I connect with that, my light grows, literally, because it's light only. That Atman is the source of light, and it showers you with blessings in terms of light, divine light. And the divine light starts to fill your cells, each cell of your body. Slowly, slowly healings start, very deep level, physical healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing. You start to blossom more and more, more and more, more. As you blossom more and more, more and more, your nature becomes more and more sattvic, more and more selfless, more and more you want to help, you want to contribute. So that is where you start, even on a Sunday, you think, okay, let me commit now, because it's a very big commitment. If students keep coming, I will also keep coming, right? So I'm committing my Sundays to this cause, which is not very easy, right? It demands personal commitment, right? So that I have made now. So you see, so I have reached a stage where I don't feel that it's too much of a sacrifice. It is worth it if enough students are interested. So that is what I wanted to say. Some thoughts I could hear from, questions, whatever. But I will tell you one thing, there is enormous amount of knowledge, infinite amount of knowledge that is waiting for you to be tapped. Right? If you think you know everything, then there is no point. But if you think that there is something which I could share, then there is infinite amount of knowledge, no limit. And you could keep growing slowly, along with it. And Amma's grace obviously will be there, I'm sure. Thoughts, questions? You are all mature people, please. What thoughts come to your head?
Sir, maybe I can
speak, sir.
Yeah, Raj. Yeah. Hemant, एक मिनट रुक जाओ.
Actually, sir, my
Yeah, Raj.
Yeah. Sir, you spoke about the consciousness at the beginning of the conversation, and I'm curious to know how being selflessness and consciousness are connected. If you can throw some light.
Yes, actually, what happens now as you reach higher levels of consciousness, you realize that there is only one consciousness. And
Got
that consciousness is God consciousness.
Uh-huh.
So it is like, there is, let's say, I can take a metaphor. It's a classical metaphor used by many rishis also. Sun is shining in the sky, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are many pots of water. And in each pot of water, that same sun will be reflected, right? You will see one sun in each pot. Isn't it true?
Right.
Huh?
Right.
So each pot is like each one of us. But the source of light is that one sun shining in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
So that sun is God. So like that, you can imagine a situation where, I could show it as a visual also. I will need the help of you guys, in IT wizards. You can help me create those visuals also, which we could then put on YouTube also. And slowly you could attract more people also. So that this community becomes stronger and bigger, right? So, and also don't go by small number, 8-9 people, especially Meghna, okay? Don't get intimidated, only 8-9 people are here, what am I doing here? Don't worry about 8-9 people. 9 people are enough to change the world, okay? More than enough. So, and 9 is a very good number, divine number. Okay, Amma's favorite number is 9. So, There is an ocean of consciousness, and that is one. Now I'll point you to one symbol. Before I forget, my son just reminded me that today I could not buy Google Meet or something for some reason. There are some barriers because they want me to buy domain or something like that. So this meeting will last only for 1 hour. So one of you could share one more link where we could all connect on Google Meet. Can you create one of you? Create one more Google Meet link so that the moment this meeting is over, we can shift to that link and put
I
on
can,
the WhatsApp group.
I can do it, sir. I can quickly do it and share the link with all.
Actually, sir, we can use MS Team because you have the access because of Amrita has
That is
subscribed
for future,
Microsoft
Hemant.
product.
Hemant, that is what Hemant समझ गया बात की बात है वो. अभी someone create a link on Google Meet and we can again shift to that one. Okay. So in the meanwhile, I'll keep answering Raj. So I'll point you to one symbol in traditional Indian wisdom, Vishnu symbol again. You see, Vishnu is shown sleeping on the Seshaya. You have seen that, no? There is a big serpent, 1,000-head hooded serpent, Adi Sesha. That is its torso. On that, Vishnu is sleeping. And Lakshmi is sitting nearby him. And the Adi Shesha is floating on a Kshir Sagar. Have you seen that diagram or that picture? It's a very famous one, right?
Yes, sir.
And from the navel of Vishnu, a lotus is coming, and on that lotus is sitting Brahma. Have you seen that?
Yes, sir.
That metaphor is the most powerful metaphor in Sanatana Dharma because it literally and graphically depicts the truth. And what is the truth? Vishnu is nothing but your own drop of supreme consciousness, what Amma calls Atma. That drop of consciousness, supreme consciousness is the Vishnu. It is sleeping. Why it is sleeping? Because it is sleeping on the Sesaya means. Now Adi Sesa, if you look at the name, in Sanskrit the names have very deep meaning. What is Adi Sesa? Adi means from the very beginning. Adi means that which is from the very beginning. Now what is Shesha? Shesha is remainder. No division, when you do division, what you can't divide remains as a remainder. When I divide 7 by 3, 1 is the remainder, right?
Mhm.
So that is Shesha. So Adi Shesha means that part of your karma that you could not exhaust. Eternal remainder. Adi Shesha means eternal remainder. Why eternal? Because in each lifetime, you exhaust a certain part of your karma and create a huge amount of new karma. And generally, most people, because of ignorance, exhaust only 1 kilo of karma and create 1 ton of new karma. So lifetime after lifetime, karma keeps increasing, which makes the soul gripped by heavier and more denser karma. It is a very vicious cycle. It's a very vicious cycle. And more the karma, more gross the intellect. Less you can understand these things. Only people with very bright intellects will be able to stay with me for long enough. And I will not be surprised if in 4 or 5 weeks none of you are interested. And I will be very happy if 2 or 3 stick with me. You know what I'm saying? It's not that easy because we are talking here about intense amount of karma which is blocking our vision. Which vision? Not this vision from the eyes, soul vision. Antardrishti, insight, inner sight, Shiva's third eye. Shiva's third eye depicts that same ability to see through the illusion, the Maya, and see the reality as it is. So the reality is we are all one consciousness, but we look as if we are separate beings. And that is because our bodies are so dense, and as a result of that, our mind is conditioned in a very heavily physical manner. Okay, so just like the sun shines in different pots, the same supreme consciousness shines in all of us, but we don't realize this. We feel that other person is separate. This chat GPT, this problem of seeing employees as cost, the solution lies in this vision only. No, loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, vasudhaiva kutumbakam. All this comes from the same ability to perceive unity in diversity. You know, the
Yes,
Sanatan
sir.
tradition has understood the entire life in its thoroughness. But unfortunately, with modern onset of civilization, especially Western influence, we have gone further and further away from that source, our traditional knowledge. Now, just imagine if the planets in the skies are affecting me, and if time is affecting me, and space is affecting me, then am I really separate from everything which I imagine myself to be? Are we really separate, or we only perceive ourselves to be separate? So, if you go deeper into life, you will see that you are not separate from anything. Everything around you affects you because you are a part of God's body, and God has this one gigantic body which is the whole universe. We each one is like a cell in that body. If we can have that perception, selflessness is a natural result. Then we perceive everyone as God's child, as we are ourselves. And then we help each other in a spirit of brotherhood. I don't know if I answered your question or not, Raj.
No, no, sir. I think that answers my question. Thank you.
Yeah, Hemant?
Sir, now it's a feedback session because you know me, you know me. How to say? For any session, please post on group what you are going to teach. Okay, sir, so that we can make the mental makeup. Oh, today I will get some knowledge on, can say not knowledge, some wisdom on this particular topic, and I think it would be help us a lot. Okay, sir.
No, thank you so much for your input, Hemant, but I never know what I'm going to teach next.
That's something, sir.
No, I tell you, I never teach. God inside me teaches. Okay. And that God inside me never tells me, beforehand what He will teach. So
But
you can never, no, listen, you asked the question or you made your suggestion, but that is not my style. I'm not a logical person. I'm an intuitive person. I never know what I will speak next. Inner God takes over and He teaches in that moment. If you trust me, you keep coming, you will gain something very beautiful. If you don't trust me, you are free to, not come. It's as simple as that.
sir, for me there is no problem, sir. But I think if you tell the topics which you are going to cover in the session, then it would be easy for other people.
I already gave you my answer. Okay. I will try my level best to, obviously, I'm not a madman. Okay. I have some idea what we'll be doing in the next class, but the way you are describing the process is not my process. That is the old Western process, which is a rotten process. And because if you already know what you will be taught, then you already have learned what will be taught. Then what is the point in coming also? Google is there, the great teacher. You go and Google. But that is not how life functions. In a group like this right now, God is watching. That you will not know. God is watching all nine of us. And God is blessing all nine of us. That you will not know. So as you go along this path, miracles will start happening in each one of your life. Obstacles in your path will be removed, just like that. And all kinds of synchronicities will start to happen in your life. That is something which you will not be able to conquer and resolve. So that is not my style. I never worry about what I will teach, and because there is so much to teach that I can die, but still I will not be able to share even a small part of what I have learned. Even if I teach every day 5-6 hours, I will not be able to exhaust even 5%. So don't worry about the knowledge. There is enormous amount of knowledge, but we have to be patient and we have to be little bit, you know, surrendered to God. Amma's favorite word, surrender.
Surrender, sir. I did it, but you know.
Emma, time is very important. No, we can't engage too much for it. I already answered your question, right?
Okay, sir.
Let others speak. Okay. Sneha, your thoughts?
Yes,
Sneha,
yes.
By the way, is one of my best ever students, if not the best ever student among the MBA lot. She is one of the best ever students that I taught among the MBAs. So very highest regard for Sneha. Yes,
Thank
Sneha?
you so much, sir. I am blessed to be a student. Just one thing I would like to register here, like most of us amongst this group have taken up one more responsibility also. We are now parents. So, to improve the impact of this initiative, it would be really great if you could, guide us on how to, bring up our children as really highly conscious people. Because I'm personally stuck because I don't know. Sometimes I'll just because of some other tension, I may just yell at my husband or to someone else in front of my kid, and then I would thought, oh no, I shouldn't have
Yeah,
done that.
yeah,
So we need that help. So if
that
you
is a
could
very,
cover that.
yeah, that is a very beautiful input. So, like Hemant, you see, one topic already came up, right? Like Sneha brought it about parenting. So parenting is a very beautiful topic, and obviously we'll be covering a lot about it because it's a very important thing. When we say growing our light, it means growing our light in our family also. As we grow our light, our husband and our wife and our children, they are the first people to benefit. And then their light also starts to grow and the family becomes more enlightened and more beautiful. So obviously, so we'll be covering a lot on parenting. I will take care of that. That's a
Okay.
good input. Okay. Yeah, Ajit.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, my prime reason being in this meeting is, I mean, there are a lot of things that was discussed. But what I found was, I mean, whatever I do in my life, my career, purpose is missing. I always sit back and think, why did I do a certain thing, and how is it adding value to my life? I'm not able to find that. That is one. And as a result, whatever I'm doing, over a period of time, it starts getting boring. A simple example is my PhD journey, where I completed my course, but I'm not able to move forward because uh, I started having a feeling that whether this is actually going to help me as I grow in life. So probably, you know,
Last part, can you repeat again? Could not hear properly.
regarding my PhD journey.
Ha.
Yeah, so I completed my coursework and I'm on my way to do my CQE and then start with my research work. But I'm not doing anything right now because I don't see any purpose whether it is going to add value to my life or is it something I should be doing something else. All these things. So it's a bit confusing. So that's the reason I specifically decided that I should join this because I would tell you that during my PhD coursework, I've attended close to about 9 sessions, 9 classes, or 9 courses. Theories of personality was the only course that I really enjoyed doing, and rest of it was just to a tick mark and score some marks so that I clear the coursework. So that's my reasons for being here, sir.
Right. Thank you so much for that, compliment. Okay. So actually, as we become more conscious and more aware, clarity increases about purpose of life, and that helps in that also. But another thing I will tell you what is that doesn't matter what we do in our life or our career, we can do that also very skillfully and very well and very efficiently as we grow in consciousness. And that problem of boredom or frustration decreases slowly, and it also goes away because see, if you can see meaning in what you are doing, for example, you are able to find jobs for the young graduates, right? And you are able to help in their training through someone internship. It's a very meaningful thing that you are doing, right? So if you can find joy in the meaning, if you can find happiness in their happiness, then obviously what you're doing is very significant. So again, it comes from that feeling of selflessness. So in a way, you are giving a great service. What you're doing is great service. As you grow in consciousness, giving service increases your happiness. But the problem arises when we start thinking from our own personal perspective. How much we are earning and how much we can grow in our career and what is the career path. And then actually you see academics may not be that area where you can grow very much in terms of ambition. Like, maybe you can become a assistant professor, assistant professor, and then you can do research and you can publish papers, A star, and all that. But beyond a limit, I mean, you cannot grow in academics in terms of money or fame or power or something like that.
Yes,
It's
sir.
basically intellectual exercise. Academic setup is intellectual exercise. If intellectual knowledge development, makes you happy, then PhD is a good process. It really makes you very disciplined in terms of a thought process. It's a very systematic, rigorous structure. It trains your intellect to think in a very disciplined manner. So that way it is useful only. And since you have done so much, why not complete it also? That is what I will say. And ultimately, no work is useless. Whatever work that you do seriously is going to help only ultimately. I did my PhD and it didn't harm me at all. It has helpful in the rigor of my thinking. Even when I told Hemant that I don't know what I will be teaching, it doesn't mean I'm a madman. I mean, what I mean to say, there's the inspiration of the moment. You never know which path the class will take. So if someone like me starts to, then I'll to prepare a PowerPoint slide and share, that will be killing the whole thing. Because life is right now in this moment, not in the past or in the future. Right? So those people who are inspired from inside, generally
Yes, sir.
they don't prepare much. They get the feel of the group and then they take the group forward. That is the way I teach happiness, right? Sneha knows how I teach happiness. She's the only one here who has studied happiness. That is the way I take the group forward intuitively. Then so what we'll be doing together as a group, learning meditation, going deeper into personality theories, going deeper into healing therapy modalities, like that. I could start sharing what flower essences one after the other. These are 38 flower essences which can heal the mind. I have used these to not treat mad people actually. There was a person in Actimida campus who was tied to the bed whole day and night because if they open him up, he will become very violent. He had not been going to his job for 2-3 years. And I started treating him. Within 1 year, he joined his company. His wife had left him and children had left him, but then they all came back after 2-3 years. So that level of patients can be helped with these powerful healing modalities. So everyone in Actimida campus knows about it. Even Vice Chancellor knows about it. So what I'm trying to say, there are things in life which we need to learn if we want to learn, and it will help us also. With our children, it will help. For example, you see some pattern in your child, you can give that particular flower essence, you can recognize, and you can help your child to overcome that crisis or that overcome that barrier. Lack of self-confidence or jealousy or too much pride or too much aloofness or lost in their own thought or obsessive thinking or nightmares or whatever. Everything can be helped, literally helped. You need not only watch and worry, you can actually make interventions and help. You can talk to my wife how much she has grown in last 22 years living with in consciousness through my interventions. Hemant also knows about it. He is a beneficiary. He was a student, but for some reason he contacted me. I started treating him also, and he has been treated by me for many years now. You can see. Hemant, right or wrong? Have you benefited from that? Those interventions? Unmute kar lo. You are on mute.
Sorry, sir. Actually, how to explain it? You treated me, but apart from that, I got a whole word wisdom. Okay, sir. And now it's very easy for me to recognize people and cannot explain, sir. My mind becomes so, can say, so clear than my past. And how to say, now I know what to do in my life. So I
No, no,
don't attach with.
my main point was, these medicines work, right?
Sir, you can see my happy face on the camp.
So other people,
How I happy. Next,
other people don't know. No, I know, but other people don't know. So if you share, they will also feel encouraged.
actually,
Give us
I'll
some
tell to
example.
other people. I'll tell to other people. I will start my journey. I born and brought up in the Kanpur, UP, and I was a criminal kind of person because sir taught me astrology. I learned astrology, so easily I can see the positions of planets in my birth chart. Okay, sir. Okay, the people. So one day, actually, what happened? I was working in Amartya School of Business, Coimbatore. So I was observing environment over there. I found Rajiv Sir is one of the only one person who is very happy. He is laughing, roaming here and there, walking here and there, and talking with people. So out of curiosity, I thought something is with this man. I understand something is with this man, so I started having conversation with sir, and initially sir understood what I am sharing. Initially, sir thought
Hemant,
he is
you,
not
you
a
switch off your
serious
video.
guy.
Your voice is breaking. You switch off your video, your audio will be much clear that way. Switch off your video. Huh?
So so initially, sir thought he is not a serious guy, and he just do the time pass in life. But I keep coming, and it was my peculiar habit asking many questions. So I asked many questions to sir. So sir gave reply of all questions. Now I can understand why I was asking questions to sir, and he also said, "Hemant, come to home and bring." I could remember the first time when you gave the medicine. Sir said, "Hemant, come to home, bring one bottle of water, and I'll give you some medicines." So sir gave me. Firstly, I thought how these medicines could help me, but sir said, just make a promise you will take medicines regularly. To be honestly, with all people, I never ever dropped medicines. Right, so that's how my journey started. And from last 6 years, I continuously taking medicines. Okay, and I read a flower essence book, and I purchased around 20 medicines which are at my home. And apart from that, whatever medicines suggested by sir, I purchased. And you can see, if you allow, I can show two medicines of chamomile which I purchased recently.
So the main point was,
So
yeah, Hemant, thank you. So main point was that he's trying to share that he has grown a lot. These medicines helped him to grow in consciousness. Like he told, no, that he has a criminal background or something like that. But when someone, student, for me that doesn't matter at all. Whether someone is a criminal or not a criminal doesn't matter at all, because what is a criminal? It is a basically criminal consciousness. See, if a guy heals the consciousness, there is no criminal anymore, right? Criminal can become a saint also, it doesn't matter. So that is why I don't judge people. I only know it's consciousness working through a flawed mind. If the mind can be corrected, behavior can be corrected. Behavior is a result of the mind. So, so what he's trying to share through testimonial is that these things work. So I have been able to help many people like this, and now I feel that in a straight jacketed position of a management teacher, I'm not able to share all that I know with the public at large. And I feel that it is time to now share, because of my influence also, that in at least some limited community it can spread. This good knowledge can spread. And in this kind of environment where society is going through a lot of disruptions, like COVID, then there's some adenovirus or something is coming. New types of infections are coming, and these hospital costs are growing up so much. I think in a family, God forbid, 2 3 people fall ill at the same time, critically, it will be really taxing the financial economy of any family, isn't it? Hospitalization. Each person may be costing 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Suddenly, in a short period of time, 30 lakh rupees is not a small thing, no? For most families. So, these things can help a lot. Ayurveda, for example, a lot of things are there. Then meditation also. So, I will share with you, one diagram which captures the stages of consciousness. I will share my screen later. First, let me open this. Rohan, can you help me? I'm calling my son. I want to share this diagram, so first I'll share my screen, no? Here, huh? You can speak.
Right hand is left. Present.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 stages of meditation. Second one.
Yeah.
Shit.
Can you see the screen?
No,
Can you
sir.
see? Can you see?
No, we
Not
can
yet,
see it,
sir.
sir. Yes.
Not now.
So you can see a diagram where there are 10 stages, no? Right?
Yeah.
So, you see one elephant is there and a monkey is there and a man in ochre or some robe is having a gourd and a rope in his hand, right? And he's trying to chase down this elephant and the monkey. And then, slowly you will see that the head of the elephant and the head of the monkey is becoming white. Then as you go further along, the entire head of the elephant and the monkey has become white, the rabbit has become white. Then more and more whiteness is increasing as you go further along. Then at this stage, around stage 7, this monkey and rabbit have become completely white and they are about to say goodbye. The elephant has become almost white, only the rear legs are a little bit black. Then the elephant has become completely white, and then here, and then here. So these are called the 10 stages of development of consciousness during meditation. So this diagram was developed by some enlightened Buddhist monk in some monastery thousands of years ago, I mean 1500 years ago. So this is a very beautiful diagram, and why I am showing this is because रूपम्बिका अभी मैं busy हूँ, मैं बाद में बात करता हूँ. So this diagram was developed by some Buddhist monk, enlightened being, to guide them on their journey, because they are all seekers, right? So for any seeker, it's a very good map to see where they are. So let me explain to you what this diagram means. So this is the stage 1. So these numbers that you see, they represent the stages of development. So 1, 2, 3, there are stages, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At each stage you will see some progress. So what is stage 1? At stage 1 is when we take a decision to do something about our mind's unconsciousness. Now, theories of personality, those who have studied with me, you know that we discuss Sigmund Freud. And for the benefit of Sneha, Hemant and other MBA students, Sigmund Freud is the father of modern psychology, and he says that our mind is mostly unconscious. Only little part is conscious. Maybe 2 to 3% mind is conscious, remaining is unconscious. So because of this unconsciousness, we make many mistakes. Because of which we invite unanticipated miseries also, challenges also, problems also in our life. And also when we meet challenges, we are not able to cope with them without getting perturbed or disturbed. So if we want to cope with our life better and create a better life, we need our mind to become more conscious. That is what growing our light means. Growing our light means in step by small step, making our mind less and less unconscious and more conscious. Now, if you look at theories of personality and people like Freud, they believe that personality is frozen at the age of 6. It can't grow much. But then, we discussed Carl Gustav Jung, right? Who talked about the fact that a person can grow so much that individuation can happen, where no person can become very enlightened, right? So in a way, this diagram is more relatable with Jung's theory than Freud's theory. But anyway, even forget any theory. The basic idea is that out of the 100% of the mind capacity which is available to us, only few percentage points, few percentage is available to us to be used consciously. If you close your eyes and just see how much you know and understand about yourself, you will see that you know very little about yourself, isn't it? Why your mood changes, why you become angry with something, or why you become upset with something, or why you are anxious about something. No, you know that you are anxious, but you don't know why you are anxious. From where is it coming? Why it is coming? So that all that represents or gets represented by this black elephant. This elephant in this diagram represents your subconscious mind or unconscious mind. And the person in the robe here represents the one who is trying to make the mind conscious. And the monkey that you see leading the elephant in the stage 1, that monkey is the waywardness of the normal person's intellect. You know, it gets tempted by one thing or another thing, runs in this direction or that direction, 100 directions. No, thousands of desires are there, and we don't know why these desires are there. And then we waste our life chasing them here and there. Then such a person, when he or she sits for meditation, what is meditation? Meditation is focusing upon one thing at a time. Let's say you are focusing upon your breath, which is a very simple meditation. So if you start focusing upon your breath, you will notice that if you are at stage 1, after a very brief moment of time, maybe few seconds or a minute or 2 minutes, the mind wanders away. You are not able to focus upon the breath. Then again, no, you have to bring the mind back, and again it wanders away. So the wandering away tendency very easily, no, is represented by the stage 1. And why it is happening? Because our mind is not yet sufficiently strengthened, sufficiently purified. Our mind is still very, very unconscious. So this unconsciousness, this person in the robe, which is the seeker in us, the intelligent person in us, which wants a better life, is trying to gain control over the mind. That is the stage 1. But he finds that he is not succeeding very quickly because of the darkness of the mind, the elephant, and the waywardness of the intellect, which is the monkey. Stage 1. Then in stage 2, you see that because of continuous practice, little bit of light is growing inside the elephant and the monkey, which means the conscious intellect is becoming more mature, the monkey, that is the monkey, and the unconscious mind also is becoming a little bit more mature, which means it makes little bit better choices. And how it manifests during meditation is when you sit for meditation, your concentration deepens and you can sustain your focus on the breath for a longer period of time. I am saying breath just for convenience, but you can meditate upon anything. Let's say Jesus Christ or Ganesha or anyone, your Ishta Devata. You can focus your attention for a little bit longer time. Then in stage 3, you will see that the person in the robe has been able to put the rope around the elephant. Okay, which means that now the elephant is under some kind of discipline now, and the head has become much more vertical. And the same with the monkey, which means again the light is growing further and further. Maturity is increasing day by day, day by day, day by day. And now the elephant and the monkey are looking towards the man. What it means is that now this monkey and the elephant are not only running after the worldly, temptations, materialistic desires, but they are also listening to the calling of the inner wisdom. This man now becomes inner wisdom. You can call it the voice of your soul. Okay. It is the soul which was prompting us to start to control our mind, because our soul was having some kind of innate maturity to first of all start the process in stage 1. The very fact that you came together here to discuss with me or to sit with me is showing that you have a desire to conquer the unconsciousness of your mind. You want to grow your light. Okay, that is stage 1. Then as you progress, you reach stage 3. Now the mind is actually paying attention to what the inner guidance is prompting. And now when you sit for meditation, you can sit for much, much longer time. Now a rabbit has appeared here. There's a new entry here. Now what it means is that now when a new distraction comes, it's a very concrete distraction and your mind is occupied with only that one thing. Earlier your mind used to get running here and there in a very wild manner. But now it can remain more focused, and even when some distraction comes, it's one thing at a time. So mind's tendency to get distracted has become very, very less, very little. So concentration has increased many, many fold. Even by stage 3, if someone can reach, that itself is a very powerful mind. This rabbit can be one idea, one goal, one purpose, like PhD, Ajit was sharing. And that itself we can focus upon and complete it very successfully, for example. So at stage 3 itself, when we work in a professional job, we can be a very, very brilliant person. We can focus with absolute concentration and passion, okay, with very little distraction. Then by the time we reach stage 4, we can see that elephant has become even more white, and elephant's eyes, you can see, they are more docile and humble. Here in the stage 3, the eyes have more defiance, little bit of tendency that I already know what is there to know more. But in stage 4, you can see from the elephant's eyes, it is more receptive. It understands that it is quite ignorant, and the teacher can teach quite a lot, and the soul can teach quite a lot. Okay, so now the rope is very much strongly in control of the elephant, and the elephant is very much now tamed by now. And the monkey also, which is the conscious intellect, is very much receptive to the inner intuition. So we can also call it the inner intuition, this person which is trying to control the mind. Okay? Then by the stage 5, you can see this person or our intuition has gone ahead of us, ahead of the elephant. Now the elephant is not guided by the monkey, but guided by the inner wisdom, inner intuition. And by stage 6, the rabbit is sitting by the wayside and the monkey is barely hanging on to the tail of the elephant. It means the unconscious wildness which the monkey represents is about to leave us. Now nothing about us will be wild after some time. Everything will be very, very beautiful, harmonized, synchronized. It will be as we wish. No one else can force us to do things because of money or because of fear or because of anything. At stage 7, you can see the monkey and the rabbit are saying bye-bye. They have left. And now we and our mind, our inner wisdom and our mind are in much more better tune with one another. And at this level, mind has become a beautiful tool. We can use it for beautiful purposes. And by stage 8, the mind, elephant, has become very sattvic. It is being led very peacefully by the inner wisdom, inner intuition. And by this stage, your meditation has become immensely powerful and blissful. You are in touch with your inner light, so to say, very much. You enjoy it also a lot. The elephant also enjoys it a lot. And then in stage 9, when you sit in meditation, or when you sit, you simply sit. The mind doesn't run here and there. And the elephant is in absolute bliss. So whenever you sit peacefully, whether on a bus or a flight, anywhere, nothing to do, then you just immerse in yourself in bliss. In a way, you are in touch with divine consciousness. And by stage 10, you have gained enlightenment. You have become one with the divine consciousness. As you can see, this person flying in the sky, this person with a sword, that is celebrating victory. Now you have achieved victory over the mind. Your mind is your beautiful tool. And then in the final stage, you can see this man flying. Means that you have become what is called a supremely enlightened being. There is nothing for you to now learn, in the sense that you know the Supreme Truth. You are the Supreme Truth. You have become a Buddha. Because it's coming from Buddhist tradition. That is what they will call. You have become a Buddha. So this is what it is. Would I explain properly?
Yes, sir.
This is a good one, sir. Yeah.
So I think this is very nice one. It is a good map. It is a good map. There are other maps also. Can I stop sharing?
Yes, sir. Could you share this
This okay.
WhatsApp
I will
also?
share in the WhatsApp group. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I will share in the WhatsApp group. So, for example, today I shared this resource with you, right? Like I gave one concrete knowledge, so to speak. You perhaps didn't know about it. Am I right? So this is something concrete that you took from today's session. So this is like one way to look at or assess our own journey as a unit of consciousness, where we are in terms of our control over our mind. I mean, you will agree with me that we all are using our mind, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But most of us are actually controlled by our mind. Mostly.
Very true.
In the first stage, where the elephant is completely dark and the monkey is completely dark, we are trying to tell our mind to do something, it does something else. We want to do our work, but for no reason it becomes angry. Or for no reason it becomes sleepy, lazy. Isn't it? So that is the stage one. We understand at this stage that, oh, my mind is not under my control. And the biggest tragedy is that we think we are the mind. We say, no, I feel sleepy, now I will not work. I feel tired, now I will not work. And I am feeling angry with my husband, let me blast him. So, what is that blasting him? That is the black monkey, and the black elephant simply going bananas, going mad. There is no control. Right? So, as we grow our light, slowly, we are able to gain control over our mind. And not only that, slowly, we start to create a distance between the mind and us. Today, what is happening is that when the thought arises, we become identified with the thought. So much so that we think that we are the thought. I and my anger become one. Isn't it? And when I and my anger become one, I say I am angry. Is it not true?
Very true, sir.
But how can you be angry? You can never be angry. How it is possible to be angry? What I mean to say, when you say I am angry, you are defining yourself as angry. See, a horse remains a horse whole life, right? So if you are angry, if your statement I am angry is correct, you should remain angry whole life. Because you are saying I am angry. Your I amness is angry. How is that possible? Your I am is eternal, immortal. It will never die. That I am is never angry. What is the truth? The mind is angry. I am is not angry. The mind is angry. There is a certain point I am trying to make. Do you follow?
Yes, sir. Actually, we are. It's far easier to understand than to implement. So
No, I will
that too
help
at
you.
times.
If you look at my write-up on Facebook, I told it's a lifelong continuation. I didn't mean it like a course. That is why I'm meeting on a Sunday. It requires commitment, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, if I have committed in public, as long as you guys keep coming, there's pressure upon me also to keep coming. As long as I leave, I have to keep coming, right? It's not a small decision for me. It's not a small decision for me. It's a very big decision for me. As long as even one student keeps coming, I'll keep coming every Sunday. It's a very big decision I have taken. Until I leave, a spiritual person never makes false promises. Okay. So if I have told that I am giving my Sunday 1.5 hour, already 1.5 hours is gone, but I'm still talking, isn't it? I don't care about time. That is only, for students who are weak and want to run away. I don't care about time, okay? For me, time is not important. What is important is consciousness. Okay? And I can easily take 3 hour classes. My point is that I am angry is a wrong statement. You can say I am experiencing anger. That is the correct statement. I can see so much light on Saju's face, right? And
Yes,
I'm,
sir.
and I'm sure similar things may be happening to other people also. Raj, how do you respond to that, Raj?
Sir, this is a wonderful session because we know you as an expert in psychology and OB, but I never had the visibility of your side of spirituality. Sir, I mostly feel that spirituality makes more strength. So, some of the examples that you are giving, sir, it was directly impacting to my life because you spoke about consciousness, you spoke about lotus being in the center of mud, and you also spoke about we being trapped to our positions. For example, today, in the current situation, so many things are happening in the world, in the society. We are trapped to our positions, and we don't know what happens if I lose my job. I'm not mentally prepared. I think some of these discussions, especially on the spiritual side of things, would give more strength to overcome some of those. See, practically speaking, if I lose my job, I can still lead my life peacefully, but my mind is not prepared. So who will take the responsibility of preparing mine? Of course, I have to take the charge of it. Number one. Number two, what is the source? Who will spend time to strengthen my mind? Because by looking at my title or designation or my education, people are not very comfortable to come and tell me, hey, this is what you have to do. But I'm open to listen from anybody and everybody who can give me that peace. I think this is one of those sessions which I'm really enjoying, sir, because you're just not bringing in perspectives of the psychology. In addition to that, you're bringing in more information above and beyond the consciousness and spirituality. I'm really enjoying the session.
So the idea is that, as we start to understand more and more deeply, we are able to avoid many mistakes that we make in day-to-day life. And as a result, we start to avoid many miserable situations also. For example, Vijay, you want to say something?
Hi, sir. Yeah, I think this last point that you were making, that I am angry is not the right statement, but I am experiencing anger. I think it made a lot of sense to me because I remember earlier also, years back in your happiness course, you said that our basic nature is happiness. Okay, so it cannot be anything else. So I think again, Sneha was asking, how can we, learning is easy, understanding is easy, but how to implement it? So I think my takeaway is that probably, whatever we say, whatever we speak out has an unconscious effect on us, So if we start being very careful on what we say, like, simple things like this, I am angry, I am sad, all this unconsciously affects us. So I think that is a practical, thing that you have said that we can practice in our daily life.
So what happens as you go along, so that is where growing our light comes into play. As we grow our light, what I mean to say, it's a literal thing actually. As we grow our light, We are able to catch the mind in its tracks. For normal people, what happens is that the anger just arises, overtakes the entire mental apparatus, and before we realize, we blurt out something or we react. Isn't it? It's an automatic process. It has become like a reflex action. But as we grow our light, we also grow our inner power for our own mind. So even as the mind starts to experience anger, it is not able to topple our awareness. Generally, anger and such things no topple our awareness. But when we grow our light, even as when anger arises, we are able to stay in touch with the anger and with the environment. And as a result of that, we are able to channelize the anger in a constructive manner. Anger is a useful emotion if used productively. If someone is behaving in a certain manner, which is not very appropriate, anger is a feedback. Right? So it is healthy if it is used constructively. But when anger overpowers us, then we behave in a very irrational manner. So it is not that when you grow in consciousness, you become a dead person. In fact, you become more alive, but you become also very much more aware and in control of your behavior and your thought process. Okay. And at a certain stage of mastery, you can use emotions the way you like. You can even generate anger by your simple will. You are not angry, but you can simply use anger. You become like a servant. You can play with anger, you can play with water. You are one level beyond that. And that is the level of mastery. The master of emotions. And as you go further and further in life, you come closer and closer in touch with the supreme reality, the God. So at that level, what happens? Behavior, your thought, your presence, everything becomes very different, illuminating for everyone. Other people can feel your aura, that you are different. Your influence starts to increase slowly, slowly, slowly in your environment. So now, for example, it has happened for me in Amrita. Over the years, slowly, 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 I have gained that recognition that I never did too many fantastic research, no, never, but respect kept growing for me because of the way I handled myself, cared for the students, kept teaching what Amma wants us to teach as an university, not worrying about what management is saying, very doggedly, persistently teaching these good things. So people ultimately notice nothing affects this person. As Heman was saying, right? Sort of. And somehow I believe that Amma wants me to play this role, so I kept doing that. And so that support is also necessary. So as Raj was saying, maybe finding the right place also where you can be less disturbed is very important. So even this growing consciousness helps us to make a better career choice. If you are stuck up in a bad company, the bad boss, maybe we can also shift a job, find a more conducive job. Maybe the stumbling block was I will get 25k less. Right? But with more clarity, your happiness is much more important than 25k per month, right? You say, forget it, I'll take a cut and I'll go. Right? My peace of mind is more important. So your prioritization of different, things in life also changes. You start to give priority to your health also, your family also, your well-being also. As Sneha was saying, as a child. So you start to give proper attention to child also. If you are so lost in your PhD that you neglect your wife and your child, or husband and your child, then that is also not good. So there are many, direct, indirect benefits of growing your light. You gain better control over your mind. You gain better understanding over your mind. You gain better understanding of yourself. You become much more calm, peaceful, etc., etc. And as you become like that, other people around you also want to follow what you are following. So first your family you can take care of. And my idea is that actually as we grow a little bit, we can also start to spread out a little bit more. I have a YouTube channel which I started, but I could not continue for long. Maybe these videos I'll put there also, so that if some people want to connect, they can connect also. We'll allow outsiders also if they are interested, because these are not topics which are like no song and dance they play. If someone sticks, it sticks only because of interest in this, interest in doing the right. It's about self-love actually. Like why I am able to sustain so long, without any motivation. I mean, artificial or external, I don't know, incentive, money or something. Because I have gained the benefit of this process. And I know it's a tough process. If enlightenment were so easy, then everyone will be enlightened. Isn't it? Glowing your light, you can see very directly, it is pointing towards enlightenment. Something in you is growing, which is of the nature of the light. Astoma Sadgamaya, Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya. This Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya means that only. Guide me from darkness to light. Mrityu Mahamritangamaya. Today I think I am the perishable body, Mrityu. Mrityu Mahamritangamaya. But I heard from my Guru that there is something in me which is Amritam, which never dies. So, oh God, lead me from Asdoma Sadgamaya, from falsehood to truth. Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya, from darkness to light. Darkness is ignorance, light is enlightenment. And Mrityor Mahamritangamaya, from this idea that I will die one day, to this knowledge that I will never die, which is self-knowledge. So, since on a Sunday, why I chose a Sunday? Because Sunday is a day when I am not my company's employee, right? And you are also not your company's employee. So it is not Professor Rajiv Prasad talking, it is Rajiv talking. And slowly I am reaching the stage where these things, my career doesn't matter to me anymore, personally speaking. I could quit and I will have nothing about it. But for the sake of my students and Amrita and Amma, I will continue as long as I don't retire. But ultimately, my calling is this only, spreading the light everywhere, wherever I can. Because there is so much to be learned, so much to be done. And if more and more students connect from all over the world also, I'll be very happy. Technology enables that. Then we could start small groups also, like astrology group, this group, that group. We can start exploring. For example, if I start teaching nakshatras, 27 nakshatras are there. That itself will take such a long course, no? For example, Bach flowers and 38 remedies are there. We could do so many things. Theories of personality also, we can go in much greater depth. Parenting is such a vast topic. Parenting itself, we can create a huge course around that. Right? Then forget parenting our children. How about parenting ourselves? Have you been parented very nicely, all of us, in a very ideal manner? We have to reparent ourselves. The inner child inside us also. That also needs to be reparented. How about that? So it's a very humongous task, not an easy task. It's a long project. And I want to bring in this enthusiasm for self-growth, self-development. What I call growing your light. So if some of you start to do that, maybe it will attract some other people also by word of mouth. And then slowly we'll see. Through YouTube also many people can gain. Maybe many may not have the patience to listen for 2 hours, but they can watch for 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. They have recorded any of this. I think we can end at this note, here. I'll stop here. I'll seek your comments, opinions, whatever you get. Vijay spoke, Sneha spoke. I don't react to how other people behave. That is not my dharma. My dharma is to bloom more and more like a lotus. Fuller and fuller lotus. And my dharma is to demonstrate the human power of not getting affected by the mud around me. So if I start reacting to the mud around me, I also become mud only.
Sure.
So it's a conscious choice to live like this. In a way, I enjoy this process because it's like massage, no? It's like massage to my soul. All this hustle, tussle, and rustle and bustle, is like good exercise. I become stronger day by day. Sthit Pragya, Bhagavad
Ah,
Gita,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you become more and more Sthit Pragya.
Okay.
Equanimity. Equanimity, Krishna extols so much in Bhagavad Gita.
Sure.
Arjuna asked, no, describe a Jnani. So he told the main quality is equanimity. When people praise also is unaffected. When people criticize also is unaffected. When people reward, award also is not affected. Insult also doesn't affect it. So that is what I always strive to be. Always try to respond from my soul, not react from my mind. Right? So even when sometimes now it's little bit becoming difficult to get angry, but earlier also little bit 2-3 years back also when I will become little bit angry, my style was to hold my anger and not react. So my attention will be on experiencing the anger, which means what it is like. Anger's taste, anger's smell, anger's feeling, where it is affecting me, in the heart, chest, bosom, where. Studying anger, not reacting with anger. You see what since I am not anger, I am experiencing anger. So I am now observing anger. I am experiencing. I am like a scientist, very curious. What it is? What is this happening to me? So my approach is different, scientific. I am not angry. You see, I am experiencing anger. So another opportunity to study it. So in this whole tussle, the elephant becomes whiter and whiter and whiter. Every time I do it, elephant becomes a little bit more white. That is what is the process that I described just now.
Yes, sir.
Right. So obviously in that diagram, I have reached some stage where I feel like sharing this process. And there are many other maps. One map is Das Mahavidya. I mean, there is infinite amount of knowledge to share. I mean, how much I can say one day. Das Mahavidya, 10 wisdom goddesses. They also are an unfoldment of consciousness. And Navaratri, the 9 goddesses of Durgas. That is another roadmap. 10 avatars. That's another roadmap. Okay, I slowly unfold one by one, and we can. Ramayana itself is a mystery. Mahabharata itself is a mystery. Bhagavata is filled with so many thousands of stories. Each story has significance. If you are keen, I have no issues. I can keep exploring, keep going. I can teach you astrology also. Not to predict future. It's like music has 7 swaras, no? Life has the 7 keynotes called planets. These 7 planets represent 7 aspects of life. Jupiter is wisdom. I'll give one snapshot, then I'll end. Okay. Jupiter is wisdom. Sun is your Atman, source of light. Moon is your mind. Your moodiness changes. Day in, day out, it keeps changing, right? Then your Mercury is your buddhi, the way you use your intellect, right? And Mars is your willpower, resilience. Venus is your enjoyment factor, your love for life, enjoyment, good food, good clothes, good house, car, beauty. Saturn is discipline and punishment for not doing the work. Okay, rigor, strictness, and harsh behavior by the boss if you don't do your job. Saturn. And Rahu Ketu are the mysterious factors. Okay. Rahu is the guy in you which only wants to run after Maya. And Ketu is the guy in you which is in pain. It is in pain. Ketu is in pain. Why pain? Because Ketu is in pain because it could not drink the nectar. Rahu Ketu, no, a story, there was a demon called Swarabhanu. When the churning of the ocean happened, the Amritam came and the Vishnu was distributing Amritam among the gods. One very smart demon called Swarabhanu, he took the form of a god and sat in that queue to drink the nectar. And he sat between the sun and the moon. Okay. So as Vishnu was distributing the nectar, he also got a gulp of the nectar, amritam. Anyone drinks the amritam becomes immortal. So by the time the nectar had reached his throat, no, sun and the moon screamed. They recognized and told Vishnu, "Oh, this is the demon Saurabhanu. He is not a god." Vishnu immediately took out his Sudarshan chakra, and cut his throat. So the nectar could not go beyond the throat. So the head was cut and torso was separated from the head. So torso became the Ketu and head became the Rahu. Vishnu threw them in opposite directions in the sky. The mythology, right? So the head became Rahu and the tail became Ketu. So Ketu is in pain because he could not drink the nectar. And Rahu is mad because he was mad anyways and has drunk nectar. So always wants to be, in ecstasy. Okay. So he is seeking ecstasy in the surroundings everywhere outside. Keeps chasing, Maya everywhere. I want more wealth, more name, more fame, whatever. More, give me more, and give me now. That is Rahu. This video game is Rahu. This too much fetish for technology is Rahu. This chat GPT is Rahu. This AI is Rahu. This petrol-driven bike is Rahu. What is Rahu? Rahu is anything that you gain without putting in the work. Lottery, winning lottery is Rahu. Unearned income is Rahu. Interest money that you get on principal is Rahu. You didn't put in the work, no? So you are accumulating karma. Rahu gives you whatever you have to pay later. Karma. It forces you to accumulate karma. Why karma increases all the time? Rahu. Ignorance, blind demon. Okay. And Ketu is in pain because it wants the nectar. I'll teach you all this slowly. I mean, it's very fascinating. Life is very fascinating. If you look at life from very great depth, it will help you a lot in making good choices in life also. Because how much money you need ultimately to be happy? Not many. If you can keep yourself and your family happy and all the needs met, slowly you will realize that meeting needs is good, meeting wants is dangerous. Even for your kids, no Sneha, meeting the wants of your kid too much is dangerous. Meeting their needs is your duty. But training them, the difference between needs and wants is your duty. And redundancy, now these days because of Rahu, what is happening? Redundancies are coming. We used to watch a movie, then came 3D movie, then came 4D movie, then came 5D movie, then 60 movie, then 70 movie. One day, I have never been to such movies. One day I was asking my son, what is this 7D, 8D? He was telling, Papa, they will, produce the smell of the thing which is happening. Then the seat will move in weird ways to give you different kinds of experiences. I said, what is the use? So then more fun. I said, okay, wow. But what is the fun inside this fun? It's a very, very dangerous thing. Already mind is very mad. And it is being made very, very mad. This is Rahu. Rahu wants endless entertainment. Addiction is Rahu. 24/7 is Rahu. We never sleep, right? But we need to sleep. Sleep is a part of life. Work is part of life, and pause also and rest also is part. Okay. So there is a lot to learn. I mean, but this is not in the Amrita format, right? It is just Rajiv Sir and his students. Shall we close? I remember once Neha had come to my cabin and something planetary had happened. And I had told something and she had told that, sir, when I will be able to understand these things. You remember, Neha?
So can you tell me the context, sir?
Something had happened in the sky, I was telling, and its impact I was telling. I was just telling in a jocular manner. And you had remarked that, sir, one day I hope I can also understand such things.
I don't remember, sir.
I don't remember. But I remember, no problem.
Yeah.
So,
But this is really a wonderful session, sir, because it helps us to, get back to that aura. When I was in Amrita, I used to have a very good aura. Every day we used to have classes, always in that, high level of mind where I used to be really conscious about every word I spoke, used to speak. But now, not much into that kind of aura. So this initiative, actually, I'm pretty excited because every week we come here, we discuss these things. So it helps us to, refill our energy to direct ourselves more towards, as you said, growing our light. So even Vijay shared one insight. It's also helpful. Like, one way to implement these thoughts is like to be very conscious about what we speak and how we put out our thoughts. Instead of saying I am angry, as you said, I'm experiencing anger. It doesn't stop there. As we keep repeating these kind of sentences, it actually helps. It would for sure help me to distinguish that I, as a soul, is different from my mind. So, lot of insights from this first
Yes,
session
so this was
itself.
the
So,
first interaction, so I just thought I'll lay down the foundation. So I think we should give a closer to this session today here, right? So
yes,
hope to see you again next Sunday on at the same time. Okay. Bye.
sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
See you, everyone.